halves and fullback, and that kind of being a disrupted and unsettled situation for them. Throw the hooker in this week. They had Hood, Peets, and Wildy all have spells at hooker in this game, and it just disrupted things a bit for them, I think.
Do you obviously? From the outside, they seem to have an incredibly similar structure to the first game of the season. Did it actually play out like that in terms of were Lee looking good to start with? Was there because in the first game of the season they seemed to have a bit of attacking flow and a bit of intensity. How would you kind of compare them? Kind of having seen them in both games,
similar, not exact replicas, but similar. Lee did start with really good intensity, a kind of level of intensity they probably were never going to keep up. The problem came when trying to keep up with that intensity started to cause penalties, I think, for them.
Right.
And I think the breakdown for Lee happened a bit earlier. They actually got a try against the run of play at the end of the first half. Jamie Ellis scored a try, which was from a decent kick, but Wigan's defence should have been dealing with the situation much better. Willie Icewood shot the line, which left Ryan Brearley kind of in a position to do something, and then because of that, the defensive line was all over the place. The kick went in behind, and I still think Wigan had a chance to stop Fatty Ellis before he got the ball down, but he did well to finish. But that was against the run of play at that stage. So Wigan was 16-10 up and should have been going into the interval 16-10 up, but a couple of stupid penalties invited Lee back into it, and they got that try. So I would say it wasn't a first 40 minutes that they were, because Wigan scored like right before half-time, didn't they, in the first game? This was Wigan had got on top much earlier in this game and probably should have extended away. And in fact, in the second half, were looking like they were going to score probably 3 or 4 more tries than they did, but a couple of penalties crept back in late on. Wigan don't look as fit in the middle forwards as they used to. And Morgan Smithy's picking up an injury. He was kind of rolled into in a 3-man tackle. Nathan Peets kind of ended up on his legs, I think, but it was totally incidental in my eyes. But it was put on report at the time, but you couldn't get a good view of whether there was any foul play. And I think it was awkward and unfortunate. I don't think there was any foul play, and the match review panel have said the same. But it did look bad. So hopefully it's just a sprain of his ankle and he'll be back in no time, because him and Partington are the only forwards that Wigan seem to be able to rely on to play 80 minutes at the moment. Well, not necessarily 80 minutes, but can make effort on effort on effort, whereas the rest of them just seem to be able to do effort on effort and then drop off, which is a worry. So, yeah. But shall we talk about Anthony Gelling?
Do we have to?
I think we have to. So he scored the first try of the game, actually, and actually performed quite well. I still think they're a bit tone deaf at Lee to have given him the sponsors player of the match during the game. Whilst the jury were sent to deliberate in his grievous bodily harm trial that he was undergoing. Now, he has been cleared, hasn't he, of assaulting his former partner, despite punching her in the face, breaking bones in her nose and cheek, cutting her nose and eye socket, chipping her tooth, giving her a black eye, and causing her to have a cut above her eye. But he was found not guilty of grievous bodily harm today by a Liverpool Crown Court jury.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I really don't want to talk about him because I'll say something I will regret. So,
we don't know. We don't know how this outcome could have been reached. It seems very surprising to me, but we didn't hear all of the evidence and didn't get to understand the situation as Mr. Gelling outlined it, which is one of self-defence. It seems like, I don't know. I'd need someone who understands the law better than me to explain how he could get off completely from, trying to get into the car in an aggressive way to stop the car and then punching her in the face. I don't know. In what he said is, it says in the BBC news article. It says speaking outside court, he said he was returning to New Zealand and added, "I just want to see my kids." So does that mean he won't be playing for Lee anymore? He shouldn't have been playing last night, going through this. Even if it was, even if the situation as we understand it is wrong, and there was something more to his supposed fear of getting run over or whatever it was that caused him to smack her in the face. His ex-wife, Tony Mackay.
He's shown yeah. He's shown a blatant disregard for the whole proceedings during last year and this year. So it doesn't surprise me that he played. To be frank.
No. Okay. So from that, let's move on to a game we know really fuck all about, Alan. I know nothing. Indeed, I was going to say, because it finished 28-0, are we certain it wasn't just a walkover and Salford didn't turn up? Yes, we are, because Dan Sargent has got a 3-game ban.
So Sargentson did something wrong. Anyway, so this was St Helens against Salford. It finished 28-0. It was only 6-0 to Saints at half-time, so obviously a nip and tuck first half. Liam McMahon was the man in charge. Do we have some stats to pad this out a little bit, Mark?
Yes, and some massive numbers for St Helens, actually. Over 1,600 metres, more than 700 more than Salford. So, again, keeping their opponents under 1,000 metres. Saints have done that in all but 2 games, I think, this year so far. They had a 3.3 metres per carry better average gain. Salford's was under 6. 6 breaks to 4, 5 tries to none. So, comprehensive, as the scoreline suggests. And kind of like what we've seen from Saints as well, as the scoreline suggests, with the first half being tight and the second half being easy. Individually, Alex Walmsley, 1 try, 8 tackles, 172 metres. Kevin Nguama, 1 try, 159 metres. Regan Grace, 1 try. I would love to see a different angle on that try, because that was some fucking tightrope walking that Regan Grace did. Very impressive stuff. 129 metres. And Jack Wellesby, 2 try assists, 118 metres, 3 successful offloads.
Yeah, I mean,
Ken Seo 110 metres and Dan Sargentson 122 metres as well, sorry. And out of the disciplinary, Sargentson's got a dangerous throw, grade C, 3-match penalty notice, so serious one for Sargentson there. Seb Ikehifo had a grade A high tackle charge, so a no-match penalty notice, but a charge all the same. And a caution for dangerous contact for Saints' Alex Walmsley. No fan views though, because David is walking the southwest coast.
Yep, and nobody else who was there or indeed watched it got in touch.
4,000 of them failed us.
Yeah, I mean, there's only one thing I kind of want to talk about briefly, and it's St Helens and their defence, really. And
Are you there?
Are they?
You cut out, but to be fair, I don't really want to hear about you talking about how great they are, so...
Saints are going along very nicely, I think, is a fair summary of it. Even though they're not really hitting their straps, probably, from what you can see. They're not scoring freely, are they, particularly? But
no, obviously it loosened up after half-time in this one, didn't it? So...
But yeah, so Saints keep going. Salford, yeah, a tough game to be in, no doubt.
Yeah, I'm just trying to have a look and see if the match reports say anything really more. No, not really. Theo Farge's try was good, wasn't it?
I'll believe you.
Oh, have you not seen it? They showed it at the end of the Sky footage. There was a little bit of a inside and then out play involving, I think, Coote, Farge and Wellesby. So some talented players in the mix there. And we all got to see Tommy Wakinson walking around before the game, didn't we? With just on his own with the trophy. The most socially distanced trophy parade you've ever seen. But I hope the 4,000 there enjoyed that. Right.
Yes, indeed.
That's that one.
Should we talk about a game we did see?
Yes, shall we indeed?
Indeed. So this one, it was Warrington against Huddersfield. It finished Huddersfield 26, Warrington 20, making it out of the 5 home teams, 4 of them losing on Monday night. It was 20-0 to Huddersfield at half-time. James Child was the man in charge. Do we have stats for this one?
Yes, we do have stats. Warrington made more metres than their visitors, but Huddersfield made their metres at a better average gain. And also, with 2 more breaks, more tackle busts, more successful offloads, they marginally edged the stats overall, did the Giants. Individually, Josh Jones, 43 tackles, 10 mark tackles, no missed tackles, and 108 metres went both ways. Lee Gaskell, 2 tries, 159 metres and 2 clean breaks. Jerry McGilvray, 1 try, 134 metres. Ricky Lutelli, 8 tackle busts and 134 metres. For the losing Wolves, Mike Cooper, 185 metres. Jake Memo with 1 try assist, 7 tackle busts and 123 metres. Of course, Jake Memo of the 2 nicknames in the SLP universe. He was first the motorcycling stepdad, and he is now the boxer frogs. Darryl Clark, 1 try, 45 tackles, and Greg Inglis, 1 try and 109 metres. A little bit surprising, isn't it, that he made the stats round up?
Considering he was off for so long, yes.
Yeah. Disciplinary-wise, Sitaleki Akwala got a Grade A dangerous contact. He has a 1-match penalty notice, which means he must have had a previous Grade A dangerous contact in the last 12 months, so he will miss out next week.
Nothing for Ratchford?
For the cartwheel on the moral vacuum?
Yeah.
No, because the actions of Kenny Edwards exacerbated that. He got put in a dangerous position and then flipped himself over, didn't he?
See, I honestly, I look. Yes, we all know what the moral vacuum's like. He fully deserves his nickname, and his kind of behaviour actually, I think the way that he reacted actually made Child not put it on report, because if you actually look at the tackle, that tackle is everything about putting a player in a dangerous position, and for me, it's a card. Forget about the how he ended up on his back and twisted around and all that kind of stuff. The actions of Ratchford put the player in a dangerous position. To me, that's a card.
I'm going to actually find what it says in the match review penalty minutes, because there's no way that they didn't look at it at all, is there? Surely.
I wouldn't have thought so.
So where is it? Warrington Huddersfield. No, that's not even from that game. That's from the Wigan League game. I don't know if they have, Oh, Steph Ratchford. Okay. So, dangerous throw in the 63rd minute. Decision, no further action. Details of charge / reason for no further action. Player lifts a leg, but opponent rolls and initiates the outcome. On-field penalty sufficient. And I agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I disagree. I think he doesn't. I think he has his arm between his legs and lifts him up. If Edwards doesn't tuck and roll, he potentially lands straight on his head. I genuinely think that Ratchford is incredibly lucky, and he's reliant on Edwards' shitty reputation actually to get away with that one. I think it was very bad technique for me.
Fair enough.
There we go. Anyway, so more fan views. So EFC78JU says, dreadful first half after getting nilled, but better second half. We only lost by 6 at home, but not quite the result the fans wanted on the return to the HGA Stadium. Josh Thulis is a young quality talent for the squad, and hopefully Greg Inglis in out of the gate for the next game. Just looked like he had a hamstring injury. Why you've got the time to reflect on defeat?
Carsten said, a game of 2 halves with the moral vacuum showing his whole potential. Not sure if the chinless wonder knows what he's doing, but GI at fullback is no 80 minutes solution. Great win for the Cowbells, though.
Mark W says, best first half we've played in a very, very long time. The play up to McGilvray try was insane. I'm not a coach, but there has to be a reason that Warrington suddenly looked faster and more clinical when they stopped playing a 90-year-old at fullback.
Lee Whitnell said, we got absolutely slaughtered in the first half. Our defence looked porous and so easily stretched out of shape by Huddersfield's ruck speed and offloading, and our attack was slow and unimaginative. We were a different team in the second half and had them on the ropes, but